Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us here at our weekly busy webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about social media tips and tricks in order to help you save time. Goal of our presentation today is to give you just some quick, easy to find learning advice to get you to the point where you can truly and effectively make your life easier using social media. So, to get started, my name is Trigby. I am the Buzz Development Director here at BusyWeb. If you want to get a hold of me, the best way to get a hold of me is through Trigby@busyweb.com. You can also email me at Facebook or hit me up at Facebook through facebook.com/busyweb. And you can also hit me up on Twitter at BusyWeb. So, quick plug for what we do here at BusyWeb. We are a full-service digital marketing agency. What does that mean? It means we can take you from absolutely nothing to having people find you online and buy from you using your online presence. We do this through a number of different ways, primarily through website development. We also do a lot of digital marketing strategies based on the idea of trying to either get you found or retain your customers. So without further ado, let's ask the big question: why exactly are we here today? By now, most of you are aware that social media can have a large impact on your business, but finding the time to actually do your social media is a challenge that most business owners face. However, I know that you're really eager to try and find the time. That's why you're here with us today. So we asked a group of Constant Contact partners a few important social media marketing questions and how important it was to their business. So a resounding 78% of those said it's incredibly important to market using social media. So how exactly do you find the time? How do you manage running your own business along with social media marketing demands and still have time for other activities and have a life of your own? This is where we come in. I'm here to help you save time, create an effective social media strategy, and help you execute it in a timely manner. So this is a little counterintuitive, but if you take a little time out of your busy day like you're doing today to learn about how to save time, it may be counterproductive, but ultimately the tips and the tricks I'm going to share with you today should save you a lot more than the 40 minutes it's going to take me to run through this presentation. So it's going to save you time, and you're going to get the opportunity to learn. So congratulations on making a really good choice. Saving time also helps you save quite a bit of money. According to a survey that Constant Contact did with small business owners like you, the estimated value of an extra hour in your day equates to $273 in your pocket. So my hope today is to help you save time while doing your social media so you can benefit from the social media activities you do and have more time in your day to do other things for your business. So here's what we're going to talk about today. First, we're going to talk about what curating content is, why it's important to your social media strategy, and the best ways to save time while curating great content. Next, we'll discuss the what, why, and how of using social media management tools. Then we'll talk about how you can utilize your events to create relevant content for your audience. Then we'll discuss what apps you can use on your mobile devices to be social, even on the go. And then finally, to ease your mind when it comes to social media, we'll be giving you great tips on how to stop overthinking your content and make this easier for you. But first, let's start with curating content. I'm sure some of you are wondering, well, what on earth is that? Does that mean I need to go into working at a museum? Well, what it is it's the simple act of discovering, gathering, and presenting digital content that surrounds a specific subject matter. And ultimately, you're going to be sharing it with your target audience. So before I forget, see that little star there? That's to remind me of a really important part of content curation, which is giving the author credit. Curating content is a practice that you'll find all major brands use in their social media, in their email communications, sometimes even on their websites, and it can really help you build your social brand too. Oh, before I move on though, I do not want to forget to give credit. This particular definition that I found came from contentcurationmarketing.com. So the next possible solution then is to, the next possible question that we have is, are we plagiarizing if we take stuff from other people? The answer is simply no. If we give credit to the original author, like you see in the examples that I'm showing you here, using words like via or by, or even using the Twitter handle and using the @ on Facebook, that is sufficient to give people credit, and we're going to be covering it throughout this section. So there are a lot of reasons why curated content should be a large part of your social media strategy. The first is the very real fact that there's just not enough time in the day to create the amount of content you're going to need for your social media presence. Here's an example. So let's say your business has a presence on Facebook and Twitter. The best practice says you should post on Facebook 1 to 2 times a day and tweet between 5 to 9 times a day. This means you're posting a minimum of 6 pieces of content a day. And let's be honest, who exactly has time to write 6 full pieces of new content while you're running a business, unless your business is writing? You don't have time to write content on every topic related to your business, but you can combine others' efforts to get a wide range of content for your viewers. So let's look at an example of that and how it actually manifests itself in real life. Here's an example of Maria. She is a constant contact authorized local expert like we are here at BusyWeb. And we're going to look at Maria's Twitter feed in a minute. But ideally, somebody should be able to come by any one of your social media channels and find all the information they could ever want about your industry. And it's harder to become a one-stop shop if you're only sharing content you create. Sharing content that other people create enables you to share other perspectives about your industry and allows you to talk about things that go beyond your area of expertise. Expanding and sharing content in this way makes you the one-stop shop. It provides a variety of industry-specific content for your readers. So now that you know what a one-stop shop is, what the goal is, let's take a look at Maria's Twitter feed. So Maria includes articles that she's found around the internet that she thinks her audience are going to be interested in. And notice she always includes the handle of the author. She also retweets people she's following and includes a comment to continuing building her relationships with those followers. And she promotes things that are going on in her world too. So ultimately you can see she's got 4 different tweets there, which is really about a day's worth of tweets, but very little has she written on her own other than telling you what she's doing in her life. So Maria is a great example of how social media channels can be a one-stop shop with the right amount of curation. Another important and really critical aspect of curating content is the opportunity it provides you to help build influential relationships with others in your field. One of the biggest advantages to social media, especially Twitter, is it flattens the world as we know it. It allows you to grow relationships with people you wouldn't able to reach otherwise and expand your network. So when you share somebody else's article and you give them credit by tagging them, they get a notification that you've mentioned them, and they're probably going to look to see who you are and what exactly you're sharing. If they like what they see, then this can turn into a wonderful relationship of you sharing their content and them sharing yours. I like to call this the I scratch your back, you scratch my back theory. And ultimately, the goal here is a reciprocity. The more that we help somebody else, the more they're going to help us. So you can see why curating content is important, but the idea of doing it might seem a little tedious. So finding the time to post is one thing, but finding the time throughout the day to search the internet for good content is completely other. So that's where RSS feeders come in. RSS readers are a tool most social media community managers use to save time, and with really good reason. RSS stands for Real Simple Syndication. And an RSS feeder allows you to add blogs and publications you enjoy into your reader. So for example, if you add a bunch of different publications that you have into your reader, you only have to go to one place, which is your RSS reader, to see anything new from all of those different publications. So from a time-saving perspective, which is what we're really doing here today, all of your curating gets dumped into one place and you only get notified when new things happen. So there are a lot of really good RSS feeders out there. My favorite is called Feedly, mainly because it's really easy to set up your account. So as you can see, it's just as easy as connecting it to one of your social networks. Adding content is as simple as searching your topic or blog name, And then the interface is incredibly easy to navigate, organize, and add new feeds. It can all be done and found in that left navigation bar that I'm showing you here. So there are a lot of different readers out there. It's really a question of personal preference. You don't need to use Feedly on my account, but regardless of what you choose, it's a great tool to help you save time with your social media efforts. So RSS feeders aren't the only tool you can use to curate content. There are a lot of other great tools that you can use to help you with your curating efforts. Google Alerts allows you to set up alerts for a specific keyword relevant to your audience, and then you get an email sent to you anytime it's mentioned anywhere around the internet. So a good tip to use this for, if you can go to google.com/alerts, but the good tip that I was going to suggest is to set up an alert for your business name. It's a great way to keep an eye on who's talking about your business, and anytime you get a mention on any other website, they're going to be able to tell you where it is and what it is. Secondly is email newsletters. If somebody offers you an email newsletter, I wholeheartedly recommend that you sign up for it. At BusyWeb, we have a great newsletter that we send out monthly. If you want to sign up for it, go to busyweb.com. But we provide a lot of really interesting content from that we create originally, but also from around the internet. So if you get those newsletters, I encourage you to read them, because most likely those people are in your industry and they're providing content that you or your audience might find interesting. So be sure to share that on your social channels. Be sure and subscribe, but make sure you give that author credit at the end. And don't forget your social media feeds as well. And at any given moment, there's a ton of articles and ideas being shared and flying around the internet on your social media channels. And if you find something you think your audience will like, go ahead and share it with them. The best part of using social media to curate content is it gives you the opportunity to reward your followers by utilizing their content in a reciprocal way to share with other people. Make sure you give that person credit as well. And then that way, it's pretty easy to hit that 6 to 9 posts a day number. So we talked a little bit about where to find the content to use on your channels, how an RSS feeder can help you save time, but then the question becomes, how do you easily input that content you find into your strategy? Social media management tools are going to help you organize your content in one place. You can even schedule all your posts at one time. So the benefits of social media management tools vary on the different platform you use, but for the most part, most allow you to do a couple of different things. First, schedule. You can sit down in one place, schedule all of your social media content at one time, anything from Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and more. Second, there's nothing that is going to help you save more time than the ability to respond, retweet, share social media posts all on one platform. So having a management platform that you check once a day, it puts you on top of your social media inquiries, all of your social media praising, all of the social media criticism, and all the good engagement. And then finally, it helps you with analytics. Having an idea of what content works and what doesn't by looking at your analytics is a great way to judge whether or not you're being successful. Most platforms offer some form of analytics. They're usually pretty easy to set up. They're usually pretty easy to comprehend. Here's my favorite. It's called Hootsuite. It's a great example of a social media management tool that allows you to do the 3 aforementioned things. So first, you can schedule from many different social media accounts, whether you're using them across different messages or one message across several accounts. You can see all scheduled posts and edit the time and the day those posts are going to go out in one really convenient place. Don't be afraid to use that scheduler, because you can easily come back and reschedule or delete your posts. That might come in handy if something goes bad. Second, you also want to manage your content through from Twitter to Facebook to Google. You can see who's talking about you and talking about them back using a social media tool. So click a little quickly. So another great example of a management tool is called Market Me Suite. It's created to simplify small business owners. Like Hootsuite does the 3 aforementioned things: scheduling, engaging, and analytics. So remember when we talked about using your social media contacts to curate those content that you're looking for? Tools like this makes curating content much, much easier by showing all the conversations in one place. So as you can see, all of these Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds are being displayed in one location. This gives you the opportunity to monitor all the networks without having to hop from channel to channel. From an engagement perspective, there are Facebook integrations that enable you to comment and to like, as well as Twitter integrations so that you can retweet or reply or direct message within the platform. This is true for both Hootsuite and Marketly Suite. So we know you have many things to keep track of. That's why using one tool for all of your social media interactions can really save you time. You find it a lot easier to keep track of everything going on in your social media world once you begin using one platform for all channels. And if you use an RSS feeder and a social media tool, now you only have to go 2 places to do most or any or all of your social media work. Finally, let's take a quick gander at analytics. Using an analytics feature within your management tool can help you figure out what's the content that really is resonating with your audience, because it tracks how many clicks each one of your posts or your tweets receive, as well as how your engagement is in fact growing. So you can see your total retweets, you can see your mentions over a period of time. This also helps to see if 1 week was particularly better than the last. You can also see if there were a large amount of mentions or retweets by looking at the peaks and valleys of the graph. So you can go back, you can see where the peak came from and create similar content to continue the engagement increase. Best feature is the ability to see how many clicks each one of your tweets with links received. This helps you determine which one was the most popular and how you can use that information over again. Notice how in this particular example, the second most clicked tweet was a repeat of the 4th click with just the most popular added. You can actually use popular content again and again, and don't be mentioned its greatest hits by starting with most popular. This revamps your original tweet a little, and it helps you save time because all you're ending up doing is copying and pasting. So these tweets are only a couple of days apart, because if this handle tweets 5 to 10 times a day, the frequency in which you post the same content is relevant to your posting frequency. So make sure you're only really repeating content if there's been enough time in between posts. We generally recommend a couple of days at least. So we talked a little bit about how to gather content for your social media channels, how management platforms can easily help you distribute that content, as well as engage with your followers and fans in one place. But another great way to find content ideas is if you're hosting a special event. So in this next section, we're going to talk about very specific ideas for creating content around what's going on at events you attend or run or even speak at. So this is an example of Constant Contact Regional Development Director named Heather. What she does is she quotes other speakers at her events and then posts those quotes out onto her social channels, and it's a great way to support the other speakers. In this particular instance, she's using a program that allows her to write over photos called WordSwag. It's a couple of bucks to buy, but if you want a free version, you can get it at Overgram, and it's available both on the Google Store and on the iOS Store. So when you're quoting people, always make sure to remember your ultimate goal in mind, which is developing further relationships. So tag the speaker in your post, give them credit, let them see that you're doing some social love there. So you can notice this particular event, this particular image came directly from an event. So Heather, in this case, uses her mobile device at every single event. So your tablet is truly your best friend. Take pictures, ask attendees to participate in videos, or use apps like Heather did. So whether it's an event you're attending, your event, or an event you're attending, you can easily find connections and events on social media. So if there's an event hashtag, create a Twitter list with all those who use that event hashtag. Then it keeps track of who's actively engaged. So what I'd recommend is taking it a step further, follow up with those people a week or so after the event. Just tell them how nice it was to meet them, ask them questions, just continue that engagement. So if you're doing an event, you are an expert in your field. Congratulations. And the people at your event probably have some similar expertise in being an expert in their field. Share your expertise before, during, after your event. And those people with similar interests are a great way to connect with those event attendees and help you network. Make sure to let people know about your hashtag throughout your event to make sure that they are participating. I'd also encourage you to use images, questions, and topics during the event for the base of your next blog or social media post. It's a great way to get feedback, and you can use their answers and your pictures in your next blog post. But again, just make sure to give credit to those people you mentioned. You can promote that content on all your social networks and your email newsletter and send it to those people you featured so they can share with their social networks. So there are a lot of different ways you can use an event for content both now and in the future. So you never really should feel like you can't post for yourself because you're always busy attending events. Use those events to your advantage. So let's talk about something let's talk about apps and how it can help you. Really, there's a clever way of saying there's an app for that, but really it's a question of if we're on the go, how is this going to be helpful to us, and is it easily accessible on a phone or a tablet? So we'll talk about a couple of different apps that I really like. They're available both on iOS and on Android, so I've got you covered there. So Feedly is the platform we talked about earlier. It's got an app that allows you to easily curate content on a familiar platform when you're on the go. So if you're using Feedly on your desktop, you can make sure you can download the app to all of your mobile devices because it's going to be very, very similar. So a good tip is to find content even quicker by organizing your reader. This allows you to share the right information with your audience at the right time because you can quickly find an article on the topic you're looking for. So an app that I really like, which looks fantastic on a tablet, is called Flipboard. Flipboard allows you to create a personal magazine based on the content that you're most interested in. So you add in your social networks, the publications you like, all the blogs, and it shows you on one really nice platform like you're reading a magazine. So the first thing you do is subscribe to different magazines. It gives you real-time updates when a new piece of content is added, so it looks like a magazine that never ends. How do you do that? Well, the first thing you do is you look at different content that's available to you, and when you want to subscribe, you just click on that plus box there. There's a wonderful tool that Hootsuite uses called Hootlet. It's not an app, it's a browser extension, which is a little piece of code that's added to your internet browser. Allows you to extend your experience with a little bit of more functionality. Hootlet allows you to schedule the post directly from the page you're trying to share. So the value there is you save more time than you imagine because you no longer have to copy and paste the URL and then open up your social channel and then do it 3 or 4 times. Market Me Suite has a similar tool, which we'll talk about in just a second. Here's how it works. When you find a page on the web you'd like to share with your audience, you click on your Hootlet button in the top right-hand corner, and this allows you to shrink your link into something really small and then share it. So we talked a little bit about a couple social media management systems that we talked about before. You can actually do this on a mobile device before. Hootsuite is great, but I tell you that it does get a little cluttered, so make sure that if you have one social account, create a tab for each one under the edit feature and name each one individually so you know what you're doing and where. Another great tool that I use, this is a subscription-based tool, but it's pretty cheap, it's only $20, is an app called Buffer. It allows you to schedule capabilities and reporting for curated content, but it also allows you to put things into a queue that you can easily share later. It makes your social media posting even faster, and Buffer actually has a suggestions tool, so you can set up keywords and topics you're interested in receiving, and then Buffer adds articles that they find around that topic. They even shrink the link, and they add the handle of the offer, so all you have to do is pick the time and schedule it. So I know that was a lot of information. I went through it very, very quickly, so take a minute, just breathe. All right, now this last section that we're going to talk about today is how social media is supposed to be fun, supposed to be casual, so try not to overthink it. I personally have never been accused of overthinking, so I like to think I'm an expert on not thinking too hard. So first off, I want you to get out of your own head. It's easy to overthink things, especially when it involves your business. Remember, social media is filled with noise. Everybody is talking at once. Even if you do it correctly, your message is not going to be heard by everybody. We'll be heard by some, but we want to leverage this by doing it well to be heard by more. So one Facebook post can take you about 15 seconds to create, and that's okay. Sometimes simply asking your audience a question or asking for feedback or sharing a photo that you've taken can end up being your most engaging post. Secondly, people buy from who they like. One of the biggest advantages you have to being a small business owner is the authenticity you have by being you. Be real, be honest. Don't just sell people, don't just encourage people to buy. Social media is supposed to be a conversation, so just be yourself. Most people are in a lighthearted mood when they're viewing social media. I personally love funny cat videos. So your posts need to be personable and fun to truly grab their attention. So think about how your friends talk on Facebook. Your brand shouldn't be that much different, or your customers will ignore your posts. Remember, you're essentially interrupting your customers' Facebook feed, so your content needs to fit in. So one fun tip that somebody gave me once was your social media voice should be yourself after a glass of wine. I don't generally recommend that you drink and then write social media content, but the thrust of the message is be a little loose, be a little open to new possibilities. Remember, just like anything, practice makes perfect. The more you practice scheduling content and finding curating content, the easier and, more importantly, the faster it's going to be for you to find the content you're looking for, or craft a social post that will relate to your audience and schedule your content at the right time of day. So when I started this, it took me hours upon hours, but I actually use Buffer, I use Flipboard, and I use Hootsuite. So curating content is a pretty easy process. So where do we go from here? How exactly do we do this? First thing you want to do, find an RSS feeder that works for you that you can understand. Add blogs related to your business. You can even add folders to the blogs related for your client's business. We recommended Feedly, but again, you can choose which one makes the most sense for you. Just go to your app store, shop, and type in RSS feed, and you get a whole ton of them. Second, download a curation content app and one social media app. So these will save you tons of time while on the go. From a curation standpoint, these are the two that I really like that I use, Flipboard and Buffer. And then when you get to social media management tools, the one that I think is the best is Hootsuite. So finally, make sure that you check out, after you've set up an RSS feed, you've downloaded a social media management app, and you've set up that tool, you add blog and you check out our blog. So our blog is at busyweb.com. It gives you a lot of social media tips and tricks, and we add to it frequently. So if you'd like to get a hold of us, make sure you follow us on all the platforms you use. This is not just a shameless plug. We actually provide a lot of information on a regular basis to curate for your social networks. Just don't forget to give us credit. So thanks everybody for participating today and watching on YouTube. Just as means of wrapping up, once again here at BusyWeb, our focus is on web design. We also host websites. We have a number of online marketing programs that can help grow your business, find you more clients, convert those prospects into paying customers. Then quick plug for us here at BusyWeb again. Next week, we're going to be doing this webinar again from noon to 1. And if you want to sign up and see what the topic is, go to busyweb.com/events. And then each week's event, if you're not able to make it, is posted to YouTube so you can watch at your leisure as well. I recommend watching my webinars on at least a 50-inch plasma. 60 is perfect, but at least a 50. Finally, as thank you for participating today. If you're interested in getting an audit of how your website is doing and what you're doing well and what you can improve upon, I'd encourage you to go to busyweb.com/buzz. At that place, you can you can order a buzz report, which will give you, it's about a 20-page report. It's very detailed and will tell you everything that you're doing well and everything that you can improve upon, and see if there's anything we can do to help you out. Again, this is free. I encourage you to do so. So thanks everybody for joining us. We will see you next week at noon.